Hello, it's me, Coke Monkey, and along with Mayo,
Hello.
the Noodlesaur,
Hey,
and Muldrifter.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, we're here today. Just gonna be going over our preseason previews, like the predictions that we made, and kind of seeing how we did with those because it's been so long, and now we've seen so much of Doran's. It's been 5 weeks of regular season, and then we've had our playoffs, and the season's almost wrapping up. Sad to say, but yeah, all that's good must come to an end eventually, and I guess it'd be fun to kind of take a look back and see what we got right and see what we got wrong. So without further ado,
so just to give a little clarity about where we are entering in with our preseason predictions, bunch of Emerald. Now, hey, congrats, Muldrifter and Emerald and Plat players here.
Oh,
but
thanks.
we did our best with what we had from previous experience from returning teams and looking at new teams on paper. But as you'll see pretty soon, especially the new teams, a lot of unknown factors that we're going to get to really kind of appreciate some really great performances from up and coming teams. And so let's just hop right into the groups and see how our predictions panned out.
Starting off with Group Manaphy here, we have our preseason predictions here on the left, and then the actual results just in the middle there. And let's start with what we hit, right? I think we got most generally the top four right here, yeah?
Yeah,
Sure,
with,
not
with
me,
one
but-
exception.
um,
I was 3 for 4.
yeah, I was 2 for 4,
3 for
which
4.
is not that good.
2, 3. I was 2 for 4, not so good.
Yeah. So obviously, it seems like we all kind of knew that Greeley would be pretty good.
And they're in finals. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Finalists do tend to be pretty good. So obviously, we all had them number one for across all four of us. Although for the regular season, that's actually not where they ended up, just due to
Kind
um,
of.
yeah. Well,
Three-way tiebreaker for first technically results in them being third.
yeah. So that's kind of how it shook out. But you could say they proved themselves already. Now that they're in finals as the final Manaphy team in playoffs.
And
No,
then,
they had an amazing season.
yeah, they have, that is true. But I think there's a specific elephant in the room that we should maybe address here.
Yeah, does it have anything to do with the team on the bottom for everyone? Most everyone?
The three of us had helped Katie as sixth in the group, and Mayo-Tack, congrats, had them as fourth. They ended up first after all those tiebreakers, and man, we were wrong. And where did we go wrong there?
There was
I'm
this,
going to defend my prediction here really quickly. So I think on paper, if you just look at our roster makeup, there's just no way we should have. We finished second in our group. There's no way we should have finished second, like on paper at least. We had some unproven players in Twinkie who hadn't played in a while. Usagi's Mochi, completely brand new to comp, and Tempo Melon, completely brand new to comp. We were 3 points under cap, and we had just lost our best player in Iska, who had decided to not play the season. So I think there were enough things that were just like going wrong. Also in scrims, we played versus UP, the Bommies team, in scrims, and we got rinsed. I think that there were enough things going wrong that we were maybe a little down on ourselves.
so the answer is we had bad insider information. We would have lost money on this trade.
Yeah, we definitely would have.
Yeah, I think it really came down to I guess you could say, overperformance of Tempo Melon and Twinkie, in my opinion.
100% agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they completely overperformed their expectations, and honestly, I think they pretty much made up for the point deficit that they were kind of in.
Yeah, I would say with like correct evals now, if you put Tempo Melon at gold, Twinkie at gold, and you put myself at mid green, where we made up the 3 points and we're a 24 point team. So
Mhm.
like now looking at the end of the season, we're more in line with the rest of the teams than what would be at first glance.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
for sure. And if we kind of knew that going in, right? Like, obviously, we're sitting here hindsight dandies right now, but if we knew that going in, it's like, I think HK would have been seen as a lot more competitive than at first glance.
The other thing I will say as well is that I had to take a completely new role for this split. I'm usually known as like a facilitating jungler, known to like I make good players look better, but I'm not like or like mechanically good players, and like I kind of just direct macro for the most part. But I had to take a carry role this season, playing Shaco, more Jarvan, more Lilia, you know even like pocket picks like Kane and Shyvana were considered in drafts many times this season, and so it was something that I wasn't like used to, and so that also made me a little bit nervous about how our performance would be this season.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I thought the team play was really excellent from HK, and like we talked about individual performances, but I think HK looked like one of the more cohesive team fighting teams as well. Like when one person clicked forward, everybody clicked forward, and makes a huge
Yeah,
difference in winning those close fights. And so, help Katie, probably our biggest miss on Group Manaphy.
Yeah, and then
I honestly think it's our biggest miss in general.
Yeah,
oh, well, we'll get to Phione because there's a specific team there that we also definitely all missed. But
oh that one.
this our second biggest miss here is Singe Crab Shack. Most of us, not me, put them in top 4, but
But they were dominant. They were so
Yes.
good.
yeah, they really showed up throughout the regular season for sure.
Yeah, just really, really solid team play from them. And just strong solo lanes and a very stable bot lane. Just it was just a recipe for success. Like they're cooking up some good food over there in that shack.
We'll get to Poison 57 a little bit later, but I think that they were like maybe the most underrated player in the league.
That's fair. And then for an unfortunate 2 teams falling from grace here in Manaphy in OP and Big Bongo Boys. Roster
Yeah,
off-season
I
roster
was
changes from last season, kinda I would say for sure doomed OP. But
Just a little shocked that happened, eh? They kept their bot lane, but yeah, the loss of their top and jungle, I think that really that really hurts. That really hurts. They had good players, really good players up there.
yeah, it feels like their team style never quite recovered from that, and so like they weren't able to adapt to the new players because we had Bold Font and the Exister both returned to bot lane together, and they looked fantastic last season, and very respectable this season as well. But they couldn't figure out how to win games as a team.
yeah. And then Big Bongo Boys as well. What is it? 80% returning, and then they lost their support.
He's sitting right
Yeah,
here.
I I was really hoping this would be a bounce back season because BBB missed playoffs last season too. I think in a bunch of 2-1 series, and unfortunately weren't able to pick up a game this year. But I, at the risk of sounding like copium, I feel like they had a good team, but just weren't able to close out games ever. Because I'd watch their games and they'd make some really good plays. I think Twilight Possum just keeps getting better and better and more aggressive on their, especially their Neela. And Kirklick Bill is just put on some insane performances, but they could never quite make it happen in those big moments. And so I'm hoping they can come back next season and just find that missing piece to push them over the edge to pick up some more wins.
I think with BBB, honestly, there's like 2 things. One is I think that they were missing kind of like a loud voice because they seemed maybe a little disheveled at times, especially when falling behind. It seemed like you could just kind of tell like the emotions that they had through their gameplay. It would just like drop very quickly. So that was one thing, and the other thing is that I think that Crooklook Bill had. I mean, he's an amazing player. I think his job was way too hard for him for what what he needed to do, because he didn't need to do everything for the team, but it was really close to he needed to do everything for the team. I mean, like he needed to play a perfect early game. He needed to facilitate team fights. He needed to get his lanes ahead. It was very hard, and it was like him and Twilight Possum, I think were like the two like kind of stars of that team, and it was just like kind of unfortunate how it went out. I also think there were maybe a few synergy issues that maybe plagued them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes like just the individual performances from like one or two of the players would be really good for like one game or the other game, but like it just it just never really clicked. Like they couldn't get one game where it all kind of came together, and that's really unfortunate. But I guess that's the way she goes sometimes.
Yeah. Hopefully they come back next season. A BBB
Yeah.
multi-league organization. I'm sure they can pull something out of the hat, right? So
Shout out to BBB Bombies though. We just watched them get knocked out, unfortunately, but still had a very, very good run in Bombies playoffs. So really, really good shout outs to them.
yeah.
How about those kind internet boys though? They've been in the league for forever, it seems like, and they are always in playoffs, but never quite able to find that extra gear to appear in finals. They did win the name championship this season, so I will shout out Roomba Fiesta and Trackpad Enjoyer again. I think they sweep in terms of best names as a team in the league, but in the regular season and the playoffs, they can't find that extra gear.
I will say, you were talking about Help Katie with like having like the most cohesive macro. I actually think it goes to KND. I mean, like we even like were they even had like a bigger points deficit than we did, and like they just pulled it together through really, really good macro, really, really good team play. What was holding them back, I think, and I mentioned this in the playoff previews. They're not quite there mechanically, and it really I think was unfortunate. Like, and it showed I think a little bit versus JD.
This team,
Yeah, I think
ramps so hard. Like they've been scaling since last season, just getting better and better and better. And we saw that this season as well. They were, a very strong team. But
I think they just lost a lot of like raw firepower in terms of player skill, unfortunately. Like losing Skolt and Justino is not losing, obviously. They did come in for a game or two sometimes over the season, but obviously they weren't on the main roster, and I mean those guys are really good, and they're just they'd be a big loss for any team. So I mean at the end of the day you gotta do the right clicks, you gotta dodge the abilities and hit your own abilities, and there's just not an amount of macro that's gonna save you from that, like no matter how good you are. So I think that's kind of what plagued them this season, but no, it's honestly good showing from them. Not too bad.
And then let's take a look at Group Phione here.
Do we start? Phione, I guess.
Do we start with the obvious miss?
Start.
The biggest miss for us, I think.
Yeah, we should start with Jimmy's Disciples. I think we were all a little low on them. And I'm going to say this first. I think that this is coming from, we just didn't really know them. They were a big unknown factor. And if you looked at their OPGG, no ranked games at all. What we missed, though, and Danuglesor and I talked about this a little bit, they're the Dota players. The Dota players. We've seen this story before with Team Fruits in 2 Doran seasons ago. Like, just ex-Dota players are gonna be good at League. The skills transfer very easily, and that's on us for missing it.
Yeah, they're insane. We're still before finals, and they haven't dropped a game yet.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, they looked really dominant versus Help Katie as well.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's any fault of, like, there's no accidents for not dropping games. They have looked really, really good in these games. Some teams you see like, it feels a little bit fraudulent, but Jimmy's Disciples they've won their games solidly. I guess they did pick up one forfeit win against Moonrock Gaming.
Yeah.
But
They were going to 2-0 Moonrock, though.
Yeah,
For
that's fair. Maybe speaking as the team that, had the perfect regular season last split, we definitely had a couple fraud wins against Collision Time, more or less.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, okay, I guess we were okay. It wasn't a series win, but I think even the series with JD versus HK, I mean, HK was so close to getting one game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're not unbeatable. Maybe we'll see what Team Greeley can do on Thursday.
Absolutely. But speaking of a Collision Time here.
Yeah, second place for them.
Great showing. They've stepped up.
I got one.
Yeah, you did get one. Muldrifter there with Collision Time second place. I think a lot of us thought that they'd be, definitely like a playoff team, right? Like they were a playoff team last season as well, and everyone last season who was in Doran's, they knew Collision Time was more or less the Nectar show, but I think this season they showed a little bit more.
Honestly, I thought that their best player this season was Oxymoronical. That dude's a beast. Watching the quarterfinals match between Collision Time and Team Greeley, it was jungle diff all around. Like Oxymoronical was just putting on a show. This guy's a monster.
Yeah,
I think Oxymoronical is so aggressive too. We have a lot of great junglers, but I think, would it be fair to say Oxymoronical is probably the most aggressive jungler we have in Doran's in terms of getting in the other jungler's face?
Yeah, it's between him and myself for sure.
Yeah,
I would say.
It's just always pressure on the map when that player is on the map.
Yeah, it depends if Muldrifter gets Shaco or not, I think.
Yeah, about that one. Yeah, I guess that's true.
But
I tried to if we got to finals, I probably was gonna get him for a game.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as New were saying, Harry Potter and that guy stepped up so much as well here. Like, such a massive marked improvement over last season. Just individual plays, doing so, becoming really the second carry that CT needs outside of the jungle bot lane duo, right? That they built their team around last season.
No, I think Harry Potter was fantastic.
Yeah. And then let's talk about Scuttle Vibes. A little bit of kind of a new team, kind of a returning team, a decent amount of comp experience here, but
yeah, and so they end up third, which Mayo actually gets.
Woo! I'm just too good, bro.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, what do we think? Because, what was it? It was Govna and Carp.
It was Govna and Carp.
Yeah.
Which were returning from last season's TFP, along with Laf Booley, which was their substitute they used during the playoffs. Yeah, I think. I guess the predictions were kind of mixed for all of us. I think it was kind of hard to know how much work Govna could do because, to be honest, for me, I didn't really see anyone else who was going to be carrying this team. So I gave him second just because they have good comp players and, maybe that would become a factor, right? But yeah, how about everyone else?
Yeah, I looking at this, they have long-time Risencaster Bexon as AD, but new to comp. But even with that, right, it is very much a team built around the, like you said, the core of Carp and Govna. And I didn't feel at any point during the season that they had, a secured match. Every game for them looked to be at least competitive with most of the other, decent teams that they were up against. So I kind of put them third because that was the vibe I got from them.
Yeah, kind of just the middle.
Yeah, they clearly have the ability and the know-how to bring the fight to the top teams that are just there based on like raw firepower and hands. But I was unsure about, specific players and their
I
mechanics.
always felt like that Scuttle Vibes could win any game they're in just because I think the Govna Carp combo has any moment could pop off, and Govna loves to play some really high damage champions, but it also felt like any game they could lose because they didn't quite have the stability
Exactly.
in the other roles. And I think the performances from Laughbully, Frog Turtle, and Bexon were really solid, but it never felt quite as stable as some other teams, even when they got ahead. But that made them really fun to watch, though, because it was a very dynamic team.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could just watch a few of their games over the season, and I guess one thing was that I noticed that you could really never count them out. Like I think against CT it was CT had like a giant lead, and it was like yeah, I'm just sitting here like waiting for the game to end, but it's not ending. What's going on? Like, and they pulled off like 2 base defenses, and it's like honestly maybe one more and the game's back to even, right? So just never really felt like they're out of it. So no, they were a fun team to watch.
Yeah. And then let's talk about one of the 3 brand new teams in this group, Iron Knuckles Esports Association, or IKEA.
There's actually 4, but yeah.
Well, SE. Oh yeah, 4. You're right. Sorry, JD's done so well that I kind of just,
Yeah.
But IKEA.
Yeah, IKEA. Yes.
Love
I
IKEA.
actually okay. I'm gonna start this off with the take. I think that IKEA could have easily had been the best team in this group if their roster had showed up consistently. I think that they were one of the. I mean, them and Moonrock were like completely plagued by roster issues like the whole season. But the core of Fajita and Etho were insane. Getting to play for them mid lane, they are just incredible, and they were 2 of the top 10 players in the league in my opinion. And it was just like they're like LeBron and D Wade, right? They're just like completely carrying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got the same experience, right? I'm just kind of there for the ride, and they're running the whole show. Like,
Yeah.
just like I just gotta do my job, show up in lane, and don't die 20 times, and they got it covered.
Yeah. I think I truly am a little bit sad to see their end placement. I think they could have performed better had they not gotten the roster boss. So
Yeah, maybe if they had Nugget instead of Coke Monkey in the mid lane, maybe they would have been
Yeah, if they had,
in the semis.
I actually think that they would be favored if they had Nugget.
Yeah.
Like it was it would be like a very competitive series, and honestly, this is the team that I am hoping comes back the most because if you talk to them, they're also just some of the nicest people you'll ever talk to.
Yeah.
Particularly,
Totally agree.
Fajita and Ito were like so nice to talk to. I loved the experience.
Yes, please come
they're
back.
They're such smart players too. I feel like people who've played on their team have already attested to this, though. But I feel like we could really see this team blossom in the competitive environment with a little bit more consistency on the roster, and just getting these plays to move together. We talked about with HK and kind of Internet Boys a little bit a while ago about how they play so well together. And I think IKEA was just missing that in a couple of big moments. The ideas were there, but the execution just wasn't quite cohesive enough. And so hopefully we can see them next season and really put the full force of that talent to use.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's exciting stuff for them.
And then I think we can talk about these 2 teams at the same time. One got roster held, and the other one just came in with a massive points deficit. Moonrock.
I want to give a shout out to 2 players though. One from each roster. First is like Yargray, I think was like really, really good stable top laner. I would have liked to have seen him a little bit more on carries, but on Ornn, this guy was a monster. I think that like one of the better top laners in the league. I have him in my top 3. And then from Team Secret Penguins, I think Shrish was incredible. This guy is so smart. His map movements as a low plat player was like out of this world. if his mechanics were there like a little bit more, he would have been in the conversation for one of the best junglers. And I really want to see more from him next season.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Moonrock can rebuild their team, because I know at the end there was like, I think the core of 2 or 3 players that were just trying to make it work, but they just couldn't get the roster to stick around to play, and so unfortunately, you know, I think they're the only team in Doran's that had to FF a series, and it happens, right? It is what it is. There's one team every split.
Yeah, unfortunate on that front for sure. And for Team Secret Penguins, I guess we kind of all saw it coming. I think we all put them at the bottom because, you know, you stroll in with a 20-point or so roster, and nobody, you know, they're a new team, so I think it kind of makes sense that you kind of have to prove yourself before people start thinking of you as like competitive, and unfortunately it didn't really happen. So I guess that's kind of where they were for all 4 of us, having them at the bottom. They did get the victory for showing up. So the best ability is availability. So so they do get the win. And they place 5th, so that's nice.
Yeah. All right.
I'm hoping both of those teams had a good experience in the league and like got to learn a lot, because Doran's does have quite a few long-standing teams, and entering into that comp environment can be challenging. And so hopefully we can see them come back next season with some more consistency, and maybe clean up a couple of the mechanical things as well, so they can show some new strength.
Yeah. Let's look at our player predictions, because I know we made some of those as well. And we got an average here of what we predicted in our top jungle and mid here. And I think starting from top lane, Vino, he gets his spot for sure.
Yeah, we got
Yep.
Vino.
We got Vino.
Yeah, Vino, best top laner, not close. It was not competitive.
Yeah.
Next we had Danuga's on the second place, and Yargrave for 3rd, which, although I do want to say on the actual list that we wrote, we did have it very close between Yargrave and Clarkles, but we ended up with Yargrave, so now we're at
Clarkle's
the
a
end of
big omission from this list, by the way. Definitely would have him as the 2nd best top laner. Now, at least. Again, we don't really know how finals is going to go, but as of right now, given all the performances, I would have Clarkles as my 2nd best top laner.
Yeah, really
Clarkles
big
plays
performance.
such an interesting pool too, because Doran's top laners are usually known for playing lots of tanks and stable stuff, but I think
he's playing carries.
Clarkles in particular loves to play carries, and I think as the season went on, we saw him start to just crush lanes where the tanks weren't quite sure how to respond. And so I think that really that type of matchup was super favored for Clarkles as well, and he just feasted on that, and is always just a huge pressure in the top lane.
Now that I think about it, he's very reminiscent of how Isco was playing in his first season of Doran's, where he was just on perma carries every game. I honestly want to see, and look, again, we don't really know how finals is going to go. I really want to see Woody Woods try and play around Clarkles. Like, it would be really sick.
Yeah, I think just carry top laners work really well in this league, because, you know, CO, correctional officers, we had the exact same strategy last season, and, you know, let us do a perfect regular season where we had we'll call him Nair. Nair had just put him on a carry, watch him just run down the enemy tank and just run away with the game.
Yeah, it does go back to what Danugasaur was kind of saying, that a lot of top laners in Doran's, they like playing tanks and just being the front line, stable, always useful kind of champion for their team, right? And Clarkles, just with like the Alawi, the Darius, just completely destroying these champions. So yeah, it's obviously those like these matchups make him look better, but I'm for sure a really good player.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out for Tempo Melon as well, as like a huge
I think the best value player in the league.
Yeah. Obviously,
at 3 points, if you're making the top
in the
5, like you're the best value player in the league.
Our predictions are, you know, not points weighted, but I think if you're looking at points, you know, value per point, Temple Melon is top, and I don't think you can argue anything else, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I won't
but,
give it away too much. The community had something, might had something different to say, but I agree. I think Temple Melon is the best value per point in the league.
yeah.
okay.
And then
Keep
looking
your
Yeah,
eyes
oh.
peeled.
at the jungle, probably the most competitive role this season. Behind a little peek behind the curtain, we were talking about something fun to do on off season, and the idea of role versus role was brought up, and it was pretty quickly mentioned that a jungle would probably just run away with it.
Yeah, I think it was the
Yeah.
most stacked role in my opinion. It was, I mean, just so many heavy hitters were in this role. A lot of teams' best players were the junglers.
Yeah. And our predictions definitely have some arguing here about.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad either.
No, I think it's pretty good.
But I think each of us would have a different version of this looking at the season now, right? Like my number one is not on here, right? Like I don't.
It's weird, the number one jungler. I think that's like a really contestable spot, right? Because I know what your take is, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say that it's Oxymoronical, who was the most dynamic jungle player in the league, because like he was just as good at microbrat as playing carries, and he was just as good at me at playing the like facilitators. So it was just like this guy's like insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I think it's like you got to pick what you want. You got so many good choices. Do you want the Mold Drifter controlling and commanding the game from the
StarCraft
jungle
player, yeah.
as a general, yeah? Or do you want Microbrat who could solo win any team fight, or Oxymoronical who's always applying a pressure across the map? And it's like you really can't go wrong. You've got the mind of Fajita. It's like a beautiful mind, and Crooklook build just some insanely funny picks, and always
Big
finding
energy player, like
Yeah.
yes.
I think his early. Okay, I want to like really quickly go on to something. So we were talking a little bit earlier about the highest, like, or the biggest impact jungler at the early game. I actually think, and you were mentioning Oxymoronical. I think Crooklook build deserves a shout. We, when we were prepping for BBB, I was telling Twinkie and Tempo and Telmo like over and over and over, do not get ganked level 3. He will go for it. And you know what? He went for it, and we didn't get ganked level 3, and I was really happy about that because. He just applies so much pressure from minute one. I think Crooklookville was he had a very, very good season on a very unfortunate record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think on that streamed match that they had, like we were just watching him on Xin Zhao. He was legit walking everywhere, blowing flashes, getting kills. Right, it was like insane. He's just doing everything early, right? And unfortunately, it kind of fell off like afterwards, and they didn't. The laners didn't really get fed, and they kind of got outscaled. But like,
he
it
was
was a
literally pulling
early.
the camera around the map with him. Just like I'm sitting there just watching him on the mini map, sending the camera over to him when something's happening because nothing else is happening without him. And then the team comes in, and it's just not there, right? Like this guy's pulling everything, and when it's him making the difference, it's immediate. You can see it. It's not even close. But when it's team v team, it is much harder to stand out in the way that he plays.
I would also give him a shout for the funniest moment of the season.
The Warwick thing.
He was playing Warwick, and he held Q, which is Warwick's jaws, and if you hold it, it'll follow the person no matter where it goes. And it was going off right as the other player was finishing their back, and so Warwick teleported to Fountain and got blasted by the Fountain at like level 6 or something.
Oh
Unlucky.
God!
And it did kind of ruin his tempo, but it was so funny.
Yeah, that's a real unlucky one there, but it definitely is funny. So obviously, with all these junglers, like they all do amazing things in game, but can we talk about out of game? Triple bans on microbrat every game. What do you guys think?
As a Greeley player, oh my god, so much space in the draft that was created by that. And I will say he performed really, really well despite that, and being pushed onto picks that he was less comfortable on consistently, and still was able to have a high impact. So that was my perspective as a Greeley player. Mold Drifter, do you have something for that?
I thought his Mundo was really good, actually. Like that one in particular, if we're talking about like picks he got pushed onto. I will argue that I don't think it's right to triple ban micro rep because, like you said, it just frees up everybody else. So you know that's maybe a strategy that maybe is not as good going forward.
He's got
Yeah,
aura.
yeah, for sure. Something to consider for teams facing him next season. And Fajita. I mean, he started off the season with the pentakill, I think, on Wukong.
Did he? I actually didn't know that.
He did. It was kind of wild. We're like, wait,
was
Wukong
awesome.
pentakill? What? You know, like that's not really a pentakill champ, right? Like,
Yeah.
not really like the highest DPS or like burst damage or whatever. So honestly, I think that immediately put him on the map for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. After playing with him, it's just like he moves very well. He knows how to skirmish. I think really, really, really well. That's probably his biggest strength, and he's just down to scrap, which is something that I honestly could take away from myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, a lot of Wukong players in the Warrens this season, but like I think he was probably the best one. Even if we ignore that he got a pentakill or whatever, but like I think
Yeah,
I
really
completely
well
agree.
played on that champion.
Mid.
So yeah, I guess we can go on to mid lane.
I think we mostly got mid lane right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I would say so.
might have rated the league MVP a little low, but
Yeah, maybe we did.
yeah, Mayo-Tack absolutely showed up here this season. This guy is insane.
Yeah, I would mostly just swap Moose-Tag and Billy Willard, and I think we got the right list.
Yeah, Mayo-Tack just really solid on all his champions and never really lost. So yeah,
You don't
well
lose.
deserved MVP.
You look pretty good.
Yeah, and of course, Govna was the main carry on Scuttle Vibes, and you know, with all that pressure, did a stellar job.
Yeah, even with the like perma ban of the Vel'Koz, because you don't give this guy Vel'Koz.
Yeah, for sure. You don't. Some teams learn it the hard way, and other people know they're smarter, and they just ban it. And Billy Willard probably our consensus third, but I guess there could be a couple.
I would put Greeble Hunter and Twinkie in a similar category for their performances this season. I think Twinkie in particular for their points value was really, really good. And Greeble Hunter has showed up really big, especially on some of the burst damage champions, and has solo won Greeley some fights with just some clutch burst onto important carries. He's really, really good at finding angles to make plays happen in big moments.
I think the fact that Twinkie started seeing Diana bans later into the season just showed how good she was playing. Like, I mean, she was diffing everybody on Diana. She diffed Greeble Hunter on Diana.
Yes,
she diffed Billy Willard on Diana. She diffed the Bomb CT on Diana. She diffed everybody on that champion. She was a monster.
Yeah, like that. I think that third spot is it really could have come. It really could go to anyone in that kind of category. Even like Carrie Potter that we haven't mentioned yet. Really, he's kind of the facilitator for CT a lot of the time, but honestly, some of those like Ziggs games and whatnot, like, hey, he was putting out the damage too.
I thought he was really good on Malzahar as well.
I thought Carrie Potter's Lysandra, if I'm thinking correctly, was pretty solid too.
Yeah, the Malzahar is definitely a carrier from last, but we saw that last one as well. Just it just allows them to really big brain people and I'll play any hands difference they might have.
Yeah, hit him with the funny R button.
The outplay button.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He doesn't cancel it. What can we say,
That's true. Some
better than
Kadril? Better than Kadril. Absolutely.
Not going to name any names, Kadril.
Yeah, just that guy.
And then our bot lane and support here, I think bot lane's another very heavily contested role where there's a lot of very honorable mentions that we did not put on here.
For sure. So we had Nectar, Trackpad, and Bold Font as our 1, 2, and 3. Definitely some new names have emerged here.
Yes, in particular, I'm going to shout out Radicus and Ito as like I think that's going to be my number one and number two in bot lane, just like for overall season. Just Radicus is just on a different level. This guy's so good, particularly in the team fights. I know that we have seen like some disgusting stuff. Had a pentakill on the Twitch.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree with that. I think the other thing of note to talk about quickly about a lot of these ADC players, they're like the main shot callers for their team, right? Like, I know for sure that Ethel and Radicus are like the central points for their teams. Like every time we've interviewed any of the JD players or the or you know they always just say the same thing where it's, oh, he tells us to do this here. He finds the fights, finds the angles, and we have two subs from IKEA who can talk about Etho, right? Like,
yeah, Ito's the goat.
Just him and Fajita together, just running the show on IKEA for sure, and everyone else there just you can just be along for the ride and they'll take care of you.
Yeah, I think it's been really cool to see bot lane so contested this season, because I think last season we talked mostly about Nectar and Squult, but this season we've got, I think, probably 5 really, really solid bot laners in Nectar, Bold Font, Radicus, Friday again, and Etho one. And I want to shout out my bot laners super fast, and I don't do that a lot, but Friday again, I think has the hot hand right now in the bot lane. This guy, when Brawl is out, is a different beast. And like I totally I think he's been ramping throughout the season, so I could definitely see his argument for not being first for the season. But at this moment, you want Friday again on your team. He's confident. He's got his picks. We've got Micro Brat absorbing all the bans.
this is some Brawl tech. He talked about it on stream on a victory, and I was just sitting behind the stream laughing like, bro, this guy credits everything to Brawl. Like,
maybe it's placebo, maybe it's real, but it's working.
Yeah, maybe more people gotta hop on it. I mean, I'll be reluctant too. I hate that mode, but like, maybe it's working. Maybe it's working.
I want to really shout out Bold Font as well. That's my personal like third best ADC for like the overall Doran season. I think that Bold Font has actually his team went 1-4. That is not indicative of his performances in particular. I think he has been fantastic. A longtime comp player, really, really, really aggressive, especially on Corki. This guy was a monster, and I really think that unfortunate that Old Palace went 1-4 because this guy was a menace.
Yeah, I think every single game that OP won, he was just 1v9ing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And then,
and with I guess we still really haven't talked about Nectar. I mean, I guess last season he was kind of just the undisputed number 1, but maybe not this season.
No, definitely not. I think it's Radicus, and I don't think it's close.
I think you can make an argument for Etho, but you would have to pay me more money than you could probably get to get Nectar off my top 3 at least. Like, he might not be like the statistically number 1 the best, but CT without Nectar is, I don't think that team works. This guy is clearly their key to success and absolutely shows up basically whenever needed, and it's more of a question of, will the rest of the team do so? And this guy's just crazy.
I actually I agree with that on Nectar, and like the boldness that Nectar plays with, I think is unlike any other ADC in the league. And so even if it's not always working 100% of the time, it's creating immense pressure on the other team to respond to him, which has been giving players like Harry Potter and Oxymoronico more room to shine, because there's almost like he's got aura this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and so
sure
people are so aware of Nectar, and when we were playing them, we're always got our eyes on them.
Yeah,
and so I think
it was said by Arrow when we were during one of their games, but it kind of feels like Nectar's the gatekeeper, right? If you manage to figure out how to beat him, you have a real shot at the league at going as far as you want to go. But if you can't, then you're gone.
And I mean, I think even CC's like playoffs, right? Like they almost beat Greeley. I mean, it was really, really close. It was off of one team fight. It was off of one base defense that it was almost a CT win. So I mean, he could totally be right on that, right? Like I think
Yeah, we could be looking at Nectar in the semis or the finals.
exactly. Like I mean, just I agree. Like he's not coming off my top three. Maybe he's not number one. Maybe he's not number two. But like he's still my number two probably. But yeah.
I have to give the love to bold font, so I can't have Nectar on my list, unfortunately.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think Radicus. I don't think it's really possible to not put him first. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably one of my highest value players as well. Let's not forget,
4
Radicus
points,
is
by
what,
the
4
way?
points? Yeah, don't forget. Really, really insane play, and to be shot calling everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's just insane. I don't think you can get any more value out of 4 points than from Radicus.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I want to talk about trackpad. Like, it's pretty unfortunate.
A little bit of a down season.
Yeah,
I would say.
I was gonna say, like, I was maybe I think we were all maybe expecting more than he was able to show this season. I don't know if that's a question of like team environment or something, but I think it's weird that he's a really good player, but not necessarily in ADC. We've seen him jungle as well, and that was also very successful.
I actually think that he would be on my list of top 5 junglers if he had played the role consistently. I think he would take the 5th spot over Cooklick Bill.
I think that, as much as it's like, it's not like, oh man, trackpad just didn't really show off. I think it's like a lot of really good ADCs kind of showed up this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not really,
definitely.
It's not really like an indictment on trackpad. I think it's just the competition really was harder for ADC than it was last year.
In semifinals, I would say that Telmo got the better hand of Radicus, and Telmo isn't even been mentioned once, right? I think he's actually had a really, really good end of season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I completely agree.
Like, and we're not because we haven't even mentioned him, and there's just so much competition in ADC for like these like top 5 to 7 spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just wait. I mean, hey, y'all playing ADC are just too good. Like we can't fit 7 or 8 of you in 3 spots. I mean, not really our fault, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose, lastly, we will head to the support role.
I think we got number 1 right. I don't think you can make an argument for anyone else.
Yep,
yeah, it's not
agreed.
close.
Carp is the number 1 supporter.
Yeah, Carp is, I don't even know how many seasons, but coming off the back of a very successful season last season, name change, doesn't really matter. This guy's just crazy.
Yeah, he still got it. Carp or Draconical, he still got it. Yeah. But then onto our 2 slot, which we had the Exister in. So obviously OP won the league last season. I keep saying last year.
Well,
I guess it was last
correct.
year.
Yeah, it's both.
It was last year, yeah.
Yeah, but last Doran season, the Exister was the support for Old Palace in their championship. So we were like, I mean, he played really well in that season, but I guess this season it's hard to look good in losses when you're on support. So I guess didn't really look as impressive as we thought they'd be. So on the other hand, Nurgle Knight, which we did not have any eyes on at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That guy's pretty good.
New player.
Yeah.
We missed most of the new players. I think we'll all admit to that. But
yeah,
Nurgle Knight and their replacement in the All-Stars game, as they couldn't make it, Goldfish.
Goldfish more of a known quantity, but I think that he has been up there with Radicus and Temple Melon for like some of the best value in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's an under,
I
like you
agree.
can't do better.
Really flexible, really consistent.
I really
Yeah.
quickly also wanted to shout out somebody who we didn't talk about a lot on the notes, but I think Poison 57 is really good. Easily in my top three. I don't really think it's like my top three personally is Carp, Nurgle Knight, Poison 57. Was oppressive to just play against them. They were constantly deep wards in my jungle. I actually VOD reviewed the match between HK and SCS, and Poison was legit just carrying on Vision. Like, it was insane. I just could not get wards out of my jungle. Was honestly really tilting to play against.
Yeah, that is one of the worst experiences on jungle I've heard. So yeah, but
Especially when that's also thrown in with an invade from Poppy. Thank you, Carp.
yeah. So I guess as good as Usagi did play this season, when she was playing, really liked her play, but
She just
that was
didn't
the
play enough
caveat,
to make
right?
my
That
top
was the
three.
caveat.
Yeah.
She just
When
makes
she was
really
playing. Yeah, so
I think that if she had played all the weeks, she probably makes my top three over Poison. But yeah, she just didn't play enough.
yeah, and I want to go back to Nurgle Knight. Like, I think this guy number 2 for sure, for me at least. Just really versatile. Was playing the enchanters. Was playing the, I guess, engage. Maokai
The
is kind of
Maokai especially is so
no,
good. It's so
the
good.
Maokai
The
is
Maokai was oppressive when we were playing Maokai versus Rel in semis. Oh my god. Yeah,
yeah,
Usagi
like
could do nothing about that matchup.
yeah. I mean, it's a rough matchup for Rel for sure, but like every single crash down was just canceled by the Marble Smash by Nurgle Knight, and it just seemed like the Rel couldn't do anything. Like counted probably like you could probably count on one hand how many like decent engages the Rel could get off, and that's just because of Nurgle Knight's Maokai just kind of completely shutting it down.
Yeah.
And not to mention, that's not like his only pick, right? He played a good amount of enchanters, some other engage picks, I believe. So like, I mean, he's versatile and he's good at his champs.
Yeah. Anything else we have for support?
I guess it's just yeah, third place is probably a little up in the air. I do
I shout
think
out Aluxin as well, actually. Pretty underrated from Team Secret Penguins. I think that they had a pretty okay season, and if they came back, I would not be surprised to see them like jumping up the list.
Fair enough.
yeah, for sure. Definitely like an enchanter specialist. But I think they did play really well on the Sona, especially like in the streamed match against, was it the streamed match against JD?
JD didn't get streamed.
JD did not get
Oh,
streamed
not
Stream match
JD.
against
till
it was-
postseason.
Who did they get streamed against? But
PT.
oh no, wait, was it just? Oh, I think it was just me and Muldrifter watching. We were just watch partying it probably, but
I think we were watch partying it.
right. It was the one. Yeah, okay. We were just kind of watching them, and the Sona was just kind of keeping the entire team alive, and like TSP ended up winning a big team fight against JD of all teams, right? And so, yeah, for sure. I think there's we haven't seen everything from Eluxin and honestly the rest of TSP yet.
Yeah, so I think that wraps up, our predictions, our player predictions, our team predictions. I want to say, at least from where I was sitting and where I am sitting, I definitely missed basically the entirety of the newcomers to the league. It is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, not to just kind of toot our own horns, but I guess it's like kind of understandable. I mean, we didn't know you all, so that's kind of how it goes. But now you've all kind of come in, played your best, left it all out there, and that's kind of how we're gonna learn a bit more about you guys.
Yeah, we are
Honestly,
familiar with your game now, and those new names like that we didn't know at the beginning of the season. Very, very glad to know them now. and will certainly be remembered in seasons to come, and hopefully continue to make a lasting impact.
Yeah, except for JD, because they're getting promoted. I think whether they like it or not.
Radicus is not thinking 4 points. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I just like to kind of put like a bow tie on this season. This has been my favorite season of Doran's to both watch and play in. I was so much fun. It was we came in to the playoff bracket thinking that there was a reasonable chance that every single one of the teams had something that they could do in the playoff bracket. There wasn't like any kind of gimmies, which is really rare. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think that just is a really cool thing. And I really want to see some of these newer players come back. I mean, I've already talked to Fajita and Etho about this. I really want to see them back. I already heard, I should say this now, already heard from Vino. Vino's coming back. Billy Willard's coming back.
So
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think this season has been absolutely fantastic to be a part of, even if it's from not a player perspective. Like, it's been just, the vibes are immense. Like,
Yeah, it's just been the one that I feel like it's been the most active, like, Doran's community we've ever seen. I mean, I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I agree. As somebody who's been here for a little while.
At risk of getting fired as an admin, I'll leak one sentence that was said, which is, Doran's is the best thing we've ever created. And I think...
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, like, everyone on all these teams are showing up. The level of competition for what is supposed to be the backyard baseball league, like, juniors edition, is crazy. Right? Like...
Yeah, and it's just... I mean, it's thanks to everyone who, keeps yapping in chat and kind of follows along the storylines and watches the streams and stuff, right? So
the community participation is just out of this world. I was not expecting that from any league when I started, because this was my second league that I had ever played in. Doran's was, so I was just not expecting this kind of community participation. Even the first time that I was in Doran's, which was mostly just like tier lists being made by Winter, but like it was still really fun and got everybody engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if, for better or for worse, right? I heard a few things about those tier lists, but we don't need to get into it.
Yeah, I will say from last season to this season, there's a pretty big widening of content that we've attempted to make, but the feedback from everyone, the people engaging with it, forwarding it to the general chat, I get DMs like at least once a week talking about content from players, and last season I got a couple likes on a video and a cool video, Mayo, and like, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's watching this. This is like, we're making a podcast about Doran's. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's just everyone kind of hopping on and
having a good time.
Yeah, just it's been fun.
All right, but I think with that, that's our predictions. I'm sure we'll make some more for next season. But thank you, everyone.
We'll be wrong too.
Yes, we will. Confidently wrong.
Whoa! You guys will be wrong. I'm always right. You can
okay,
don't rewind the video. I'm always right.
Yeah, you have. At this moment, you are right. You haven't made any wrong guesses for the next season. That is true.
Got to keep the badman happy. Yes.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for us probably. This was our
preseason
revisiting, and guess it kind of seemed like a little bit of a goodbye, but I guess that's kind of what it is, right? But catch the finals on Thursday. JD vs. Greeley, best of 5.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Wait, really quickly before we go, any predictions on the series so that we can do that now? Did we do that already? Actually,
No, we didn't. We actually didn't.
Yeah, let's just run through really quickly. Everybody, give your predictions for JD versus Greeley.
Well, I'll give a general prediction first. Let's just say I have added an extra music track to the OBS settings for Thursday, because I think it's going to Game 5. I don't think there's any world that it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna say JD 3-2.
What about you,
Really?
Mayo?
I think it's a coin flip, but I'm gonna side Greeley 3-2.
What about you, Chris?
I got Greeley 3-2 as well. I think it's going to be a banger series, but I think we got it. Greeley's been in this league for a while, haven't picked up the chip yet. I think this is the time.
I got Greeley 3-0. So we'll
3-0.
Okay.
Woo!
That would be
we'll see
quite
how
something.
the-
That would be quite something.
At bedtime would be happy with a 3-0.
And with
Yeah,
that, I think we're done. Thank you, everyone. Have
yeah,
a
thanks
great
for
rest of
listening.
your day.